A billionaire CEO goes undercover in his own supermarket and uncovers shocking corruption, rude staff, customer mistreatment, and a secret theft ring. As he gathers evidence, betrayal strikes, leading to a dramatic showdown. Will justice prevail? Watch this intense undercover story of greed, deception, and ultimate redemption. But before we dive into the story, share where you are watching from, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other meaningful stories. Richard Lawson, the billionaire CEO of Lawson's Supermarkets, sat in his glass-walled office, staring at the latest customer complaint report. Negative reviews flooded in, rude cashiers, missing inventory, and even rumors of theft. His advisors downplayed the issues, but Richard had built his empire from scratch. He knew when something was wrong. "This is beyond bad service," he murmured, rubbing his temples. "Something is rotten in my stores." Determined to see the truth for himself, Richard devised a plan. He would go undercover as a new trainee. No cameras, no entourage, just him, blending in among his employees. A week later, Richard became Rick Dawson, an unassuming middle-aged man with gray-streaked hair and a slightly unkempt beard. Dressed in cheap slacks and a store-issued polo, he entered one of his biggest branches in Brooklyn, ready to start his training. From the moment he walked in, he felt the atmosphere, tense, unwelcoming. The manager, Tony Green, barely acknowledged him. "You're the new guy." "Humph, don't slow us down," Tony muttered before walking away. Rick's first job. Stocking shelves. He approached a fellow employee, a young woman named Lisa, for help. "Figure it out yourself," she snapped. "I'm not your babysitter." Richard raised an eyebrow. If this was how they treated new employees, he could only imagine how they treated customers. Richard's second task was handling customers at the self-checkout section. A frail elderly woman struggled to scan her groceries, her hands trembling. "Excuse me, dear," she called out to a cashier. "Can you help me?" The cashier, a gum-chewing woman named Sasha, rolled her eyes. "Use the instructions on the screen, lady." The woman sighed, defeated. Richard stepped in, assisting her with a smile. "There you go, ma'am." She patted his hand. "Thank you, young man. I wish more workers were like you." Sasha scowled. "You a hero or something?" she sneered at Richard. "Mind your own business." As the days passed, Richard noticed something disturbing. Certain employees, including Tony and Sasha, had a pattern. They would accidentally forget to scan certain high-priced items for select customers, who in return would slip them cash. Late one night, Richard overheard a conversation between Tony and a delivery guy. "Boss don't care what goes missing," Tony chuckled. "Long as the money rolls in, we take our cut." Richard clenched his fists. He was watching his empire being looted from the inside. Richard needed proof. He discreetly placed a voice recorder inside the break room. That night, he listened. Sasha bragged about scamming customers, overcharging them while pocketing the difference. Tony discussed how he manipulated inventory reports. But the real shock came when Lisa whispered, "We need to get rid of the new guy. He's been asking too many questions." The next day, Tony called Richard into his office. "Rick, we don't think you're a good fit. You're fired." Richard feigned shock but inwardly smirked. They were trying to silence him. "Understood," he said, playing along. But he wasn't leaving, he was about to bring hell. That night, Richard gathered his board members, security team, and local law enforcement. Armed with recorded conversations and surveillance footage, he walked into the store the next morning, dressed in his finest suit. Tony, Sasha, and Lisa froze in horror. "Good morning," Richard said coldly. "I believe you all know me, as Rick." Gasps echoed. Surprise, he continued, throwing the evidence on the counter. "You're all fired. And under arrest." With the corrupt employees arrested, Richard implemented strict reforms. Loyal employees received raises, customer service was revamped, and most importantly, he ensured that his empire returned to its original mission, serving people with integrity. As he walked through the store one last time, customers and staff alike applauded. This was his legacy, and he would never let greed taint it again. Well fans, thank you for watching. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell for more exciting stories. See you in the next video.